Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here, Golden Opportunities Coaching. Welcome back to those of you who are veterans of what we do around here. Welcome to those of you who are new. If you're new, please like, subscribe, comment below if there's an audio you'd like to hear. We try to update, every day with quality audio content for you to listen to about life coaching and psychological, sociological topics in any event. Today we're going to do a continuation of an audio we'd already done about toxic people. I actually had a couple of requests, both on social media and here on the YouTube not comment box, but the mailbox, for a continuation of our Toxic People series, just because, lots of us deal with toxic folks. And so they asked, what are some basic things you can realize that you're dealing with a toxic person or a person who really just doesn't care about anything but their own agenda. And so we're going to run through about 5 of those. Some of these may be repeats, but I have a feeling that toxic people, just looking at the channel and some of our, video ratings and whatnot, toxic people is a major challenge for folks. So we're going to run through about 5 or 6 of these and see what we can do. Once again, if there is something we can do for you, please feel free to comment below. So any person that is engaging in abusive behavior automatically becomes toxic, right? Toxic people are people who bring the pain wherever they go. And they bring their pain and they exact it upon others. They make you feel miserable. They make you question yourself. They may gaslight you. They're going to make you question your relationships, your friendships, what you do for work. Basically, every part of your being, they're going to go, that's not good enough. And so there's abuse there. Now, abuse covers a lot of things. Everything from the more known sexual or physical or verbal abuse, but there's also financial abuse. It's cutting you off from money. Emotional abuse, making you feel insecure constantly over nothing. There's all kinds of ranges of abuse. So if a person has been abusive, then chances are, I'd say about 99% of the time, they're a toxic person. And so there are very, very rare cases where an abusive person can be brought in under correction through a conversation or two, but these are extremely rare cases, and usually those are people that are working on themselves and then they didn't realize, or they had a blind spot about the way they were manipulating, controlling, or abusing, and they, come under correction relatively simply. But for the most part, once an abuser, I won't say always an abuser, but if there has been abuse in an existing relationship, then that person is always going to lean, or almost always going to lean towards being aggressive towards the person they feel they can get away with the abuse with. And that's because they see the person as weak, and so they see themselves as strong. Now, it's a projection, and it's really not reality, but it's how they see it, and perception becomes the reality of the person who is engaging in the perception, and so that's dangerous in itself. A toxic person always wants control, and the control aspect is more about feeling like they don't have control of other areas of their life, so they're going to want control in their relationships. It's almost like a way to test if a person really cares about them, to test if a person is loyal, to test if a person is honest. They'll ask the same question 17 times to see if you change your answer. They will make requests that sound innocuous at first until you choose to disobey them or go in another direction, and then they'll try to use manipulation and other forms of control to get things going back in the general direction they want them to go. Now, again, controlling individuals can be brought under correction, but it is a toxic thing to have your every move, every word, every action scrutinized, and that is never, ever, a good situation. And so the next thing a toxic person will do is they'll use your weaknesses against you. It's hard because, and I'll say this, toxic people are very, very good at showing interest in the beginning, almost to the point of being overly interested. They'll ask you 17,287 questions to learn about you, but what they're really doing is they're building a profile for what you like and don't like, where you're strong, where you're weak, the things that make you uncomfortable. So they may ask a lot about things you've been through that are difficult. They may ask a lot about things that you really believe in. So they don't touch those areas. They're going to ask about things you'd rather not talk about, and just things that are generally just uncomfortable or unbalanced. Reason behind this, very simply put, is that they are looking for leverage points for later conversations when they need to have an advantage over you, and they'll use your weaknesses as a way to make sure you are willing to kind of be their punching bag, which is the next point. A toxic person is going to use you as a physical, verbal, or emotional punching bag. They are going to take their day, their experience, their hardship, their previous relationships, their issues with their family, their issues with society out on you consistently, to the point where you almost feel like it's your job to make their life as simple as possible. And when you aren't doing that, you feel guilty even when they're not around, because the words that they have spoken are so steeped within what you believe or what you feel, that you can't imagine not catering to their every need. And that's ultimately what a toxic person wants. They want the control enough that you will cater to them without them having to do or say or be anything. Another sign of a toxic person is the conversations that you have with them, and there will be many because they constantly are seeking attention, but the conversations that you seek with them are most often extremely one-sided. They are extremely driven towards what benefits them and only them. They're driven towards the idea that, they're focused on how they can benefit. They're not really focused on what's going on with you, because at the end of the day, they really don't care what's going on with you. And also, they are looking for sympathy for their challenges, their hardships, and someone to affirm their viewpoint. Um, it applies to all people, and I say this all the time for clients, and the clients that are working with me will laugh at this, but no person ever walks into a conversation and says, gee, I hope this other person thinks I'm wrong. We all search for validation when we communicate. That's one of the main reasons for human communication. However, a toxic person only will frame things in a way that they can get sympathy, get attention, get a focus on them, get a spotlight on them, and they really won't even be interested in hearing or seeing the other side. And that's because they're addicted, and this is a really interesting, it's one of the hallmarks of my coaching and my belief system, is that at the end of the day, we all have addictions, and emotions can be addictions too. You can get addicted to feeling sad, or addicted to feeling angry, or addicted to feeling like, in this case, the victim. And so, for a person that's addicted to victimhood, they get a certain level of emotional release, or in some really extreme cases, hormonal release, when they're playing the victim, when they're talking about the hardship they've been through, when they're being praised for, overcoming, and then they get to tell another part of the story where there's another layer to the onion of their victimhood. These are really uncomfortable things, and so what happens is you believe, or start to believe, that it's your job to, and I almost sneezed there, that it's your job to make their victimhood okay, make them okay, make what they've been through okay. And when you believe it's your job, now you're going to treat them with kid gloves. Now you're going to give them whatever they desire, whatever they want, whatever they think they need, because they're the victim, you're the person that's trying to help them heal, and there's no benefit to challenging them, because who would do that? You'd have to be a monster, right? And so this is a way that toxic people get out of any sort of personal growth. And so that's really important to consider as well. Once again, this is Scott Golden with Golden Opportunities Coaching, and I invite you keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Join us next time. But until then, stay safe, stay well, be well.